But if there is a favorite to finish in the top two, it would be 27-year-old Josh Davis, triple gold medalist from the 96 Olympics. Most golds, Rowdy, by any American man at those games.
You know, I have seen Josh Davis take a lot of races out very fast, but I've never seen Josh take it out that fast.
And he's still ahead of world record pace at the half. Davis looks like he's going to win it, and Davis sets an American record. He breaks a 12-year-old mark. What a swim for Davis.
Welcome to the Ultimate Swimmer Podcast. I'm your host, three-time Olympic gold medalist and captain of the 2000 USA team, Josh Davis. Here at Ultimate Swimmer, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you to be the very best version of you, physically, mentally, and spiritually, on your swimming journey. This podcast is geared primarily for those of us in the aquatic disciplines of age group swimming, college swimming, para swimming, open water swimming, and masters swimming. But we welcome all who are interested in peak performance, pursuing excellence, and swimming with purpose. So whether you are just starting out in the pool or you've been swimming your entire life, you were born for the water, and you were also born for greatness. So each week we will explore the 7 core habits of achieving greatness that will help take you to the next level in your journey to becoming an ultimate swimmer. This episode is brought to you by Breakout Swim Clinics, the longest-running swim clinic tour of swimming Olympians in U.S. history. Breakout Swim Clinics has been providing swim clubs with the biggest Olympic names for the best prices with gold medal service since 1997. Go to breakoutswimclinic.com and bring some of their great Olympians to your team to help your swimmers break out. Bigger names, better prices, gold medal service. Break out with the best. breakoutswimclinic.com.
Hey, welcome everybody to another Ultimate Swimmer podcast show. I'm Josh Davis, and I'm very excited about this week's guest. He is a 2-time Olympian, and he's a multi-time champion, Big East champion and record holder. Still holds the Big East records in the 100 and 200 free. He represented Brazil internationally for 9 years and has been an awesome leader for the Louisville Cardinal swim team and an awesome leader for the Brazilian swim team. And one of my favorite cool things, he was a repeat NCAA champion in the 200 freestyle, greatest event ever, in 2013 and 2014. And now he's transitioned to the head coach of the Cardinal Aquatics in Louisville, Kentucky. And now he's an ultimate dad to baby Kira, an ultimate husband to wife Carol, and a true ultimate swimmer. Welcome to the show, João de Lucca. Welcome, João.
Thank you, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here. And what an intro. Thank you so much. That it makes me have a goosebump. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
And you have a great announcing name at a swim meet. Tell it, it just rolls off the tongue. João de Lucca.
Yeah.
You have one of the best names for a swimming announcer.
Yeah.
So.
I wish I could hear more often. But I'm enjoying it.
But you and I had similar race strategies where we like to go out fast. Some of your biggest races, you were out fast.
Yeah.
And,
definitely my best results was the one where I was able to get out of my comfort zone and really push it, because it's not my nature to have the front speed. Usually I'll always had the back half, always ready. But definitely the best results I had was the one that I had to push up front and just hold it on the back, which was difficult. So
it's painful, but sometimes it's good to have that little open water and throw everybody else off and just roll with that momentum. And you had the background to hold that momentum. And you've had those epic races in 2013 from lane 1 and repeat in 2014. Were just awesome. Are those up on YouTube anywhere?
Yes, they are. Definitely the first NCAA champion. It's out there, and it was awesome, and it was such a great experience and so much fun. We're just determined to go after what I was always wanted since I enjoyed college, and it's just doing all the work and just going after the dream that you had, and then looking back, just everything just totally worth it.
Yeah. Did you and Albert plan? I mean, was that kind of your specific goal to win the 200 free, or was it just like?
Yes, yeah, for sure. It's been the plan since I joined University of Louisville. It's something that I had envisioned for, something I wanted personally to achieve. I was actually the plan. Not necessarily the plan, but I think I could have had the year before if I had a better mindset, because I did a great job throughout all the year, but just once it got to the NCAA, I think I was a little over my head, thinking that since I had the fastest time all year, that thing would just fall in my lap, and I just swim to. I didn't actually swim to go after something. I was there. I was just there, but not like I didn't ever had that confidence enough that like I'm gonna go get it. Having that decision that the race was the however I wanted it to be, and then I sort of just I fall in someone's plane at that 2012. So going to the next year, 2013, I just want to make sure that that race was going to be my plan and my execution, and I could have control.
Yeah. Well, NC2As, it's hard to explain to people how difficult and intense it is emotionally, physically. I mean, it's in your first year or two, you're like, holy cow. And it's intense. And so I just think it's incredible you won in 2013. And I think it's even more impressive you came back and won in 2014. Can you tell us what that swim was like? Any challenges and trials you had to repeat again, and what that was like?
Yeah. I think that's looking back. Definitely 2014, after having won NCAA title with me, sort of that I had the mindset going to the year after as I was defending something. So like I had the fastest time all year, and unfortunately, I didn't go my best time at my last year, which I was definitely swimming faster, but I was swimming to defend something that I had, and then I was never to a point where I was the year before, like I had to attack to do something that I never done. It's something that I have done it before, so I was just playing protective in the way that I didn't want nobody to take what was mine. So going to the last year, I'm not sure if it's out there on the YouTube, but definitely I can go back and still very vivid that the whole time I was swimming and then looking underwater, if it's the people next to me were gonna make a move or not, because whatever they were going to do, I was ready to make a move back. So like at any moment, at 2013, 14 actually, I had that mindset that I'm gonna go attack, I'm gonna go dominate. So, and interesting that after I won, and Arthur was obviously super happy with my result, and all the coaching staff so happy with my accomplishment. But I had a talk with Arthur the same day. He was like, "Oh, it was a really good race, but definitely you didn't perform what you trained for, and you just performed to defend what you had." So, and then the day after was the 100 free, which was totally the opposite. I wanted to get something that I never done before, winning the 100 free, and I was able to switch my mindset to, instead of defending my title, actually to go getting another one. So definitely it was a really good transition from not having one title or just winning one and having that mindset to attack and go to the next one.
That's great that you could realize that and process that and apply it the next day. I love that. What was your ultimate lifetime best times, yards, 200 free and 100 free?
200 free is 131.5. 131.5.
Yeah. So
and my 100 free, it's 41.5, I think.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Those are great times.
And those are great. And swimming, it's involving every day. Just people are learning new techniques, how to go faster, how to develop a better stroke in each and every year. Just looking back, 7 years ago, the time that I swam was the fastest in the nation, and I almost beat the record. And now I'm pretty sure to maybe a 131, you are on the bubble to get in the final or not. So it's really interesting how swimming, how faster swimming is, it's improving. I know definitely, since water, it's not our natural environment. We every time we discovering something new, everyone's coming up with a new technique where it's being able to take swimming to the next level. And I always wondering about, I don't know, maybe in 20, 30 years, what's the 50 free, 100 free fastest time is going to be? Or are they going to add another tenth of a second, 1/100, another digit to have more competition, so people can still break records? Because what's our body capable of? You never know. So every time we pushing boundaries, we always getting faster, getting better, getting stronger. So it's something that I always wonder, what's the actual fastest that we can swim at 200 or 100 free?
Yeah, I mean, when I think it was Fred Bousquet went 18.6 in 2006 in the 50 free, we just were like, our minds were blown.
Right.
You know, and a couple of guys were sneaking under 19, and we said, okay, we're at the limit, you know. And then Caleb goes 17.6.
I know. So yeah, what is the limit, if there is one limit? Because you look to track, and the record, records doesn't break very often. And but swimming, you go every year at World Championships, Olympics, or big meets, there is somebody breaking insane world record. And
well, yeah, my theory is that there's obviously certain genetics that help, and then there's training techniques, you know, weight room. These guys are getting a lot stronger, a lot more athletic. You know, Caleb, for example. But and I want to talk about what you did in the weight room in the dry lands, because you're a great athlete. You know, you put on a good amount of muscle while coming from a pretty, you know, I maybe would you call Albert kind of distance based, old school? I mean, there's a lot of work, a lot of kick sets, a lot of long sets, a lot of tough sets. I mean, you did some race pace too, but I mean, you did a lot of fast stuff, but I mean, it was a hard program. I mean, Eddie had me train for the 500 and race the 200. I don't know. How did you feel about your training under Albert when you were at your best? Was it kind of train up, race down?
No, it was definitely a more. I would start every season. I will do the first few weeks. I'll train with distance group to get the aerobic capacity, really working that 8.3, being able to have that the end of the race ready on my arsenal. And then towards usually the middle of the season, I'll stick to mid group, and when the fun will begin, actually when it start tapering, I'll go to sprint and really work on some of the technique and really focus on the explosiveness, because it's something that I naturally don't have, this explosiveness. Even though I'm athletic, I can do a lot of stuff outside of the water. I can have a really good body awareness. It's not natural for me to have that explosiveness and that fast muscle twitch. So I was in the Arthur's program, I was everywhere. But he definitely, he has a program where it is based a lot of in yardage. But definitely one thing that not only him, Arthur, but the whole coaching staff, they really pay close attention to technique and such in details. Going to U of L, I was already a good swimmer. Not that I had to change much of my swimming stroke, but definitely I had to adapt in a way to swim at short course yards or short course meters, because it is a total different sport. If you're not good at walls and transition breakouts and starts, you're not playing the right sport. You have to be very athletic in and out of the walls, be able to switch directions very quick. It's being able to use the energy that when you're swimming, going to a flip turn and not spread all the energy to the wall. So I'm saying not jamming the wall, and really use that. We really capitalize all the energy into your swim to be able to turn and bounce back. And it's a kind of thing that it was something that at some point when I realized that I was bad at it at turns, it was something that it became sort of an obsession for me. I was every practice, I was so obsessed with my breakouts and turns. I was able to have a really good focus to every set, every time I'll get in the water from warm up to cool down. No matter what, I was going to push off the wall as hard as I could and really pay attention, be mindful enough to pay attention to every breakout throughout the set or throughout the practice. And I think that was something that it really helped me for sure. Coming from like being a good swimmer already and just really working at some of the techniques, so just walls. And it was definitely what it set me up for success.
I love what you just said about every turn, push off as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And I remember when I won the 200 free in 1993, a long time ago, I made a commitment at the beginning of that season that every turn I would just throw my feet as quickly as I could and push off as hard as I could. And it just became really second nature, became a great habit to have.
Yeah.
And I was, refining getting the feet over fast, refining the best angle, to push off hard, and refining the best angle for the breakout. And just those three things, come the approach, the push, and the breakout. If you're thinking about that every time, you're going to lock in a great turn, and it's going to become second nature. And so turns are really hard to sometimes teach. You can demonstrate to kids when you're with them in person, but sometimes it's hard to teach. But what I try and communicate is that I want to throw the feet fast, but the feet land kind of high. And I want my body, my knees to be in a 90-degree position. I want my hips to be in a 90-degree position. And I got to be streamlined when my feet hit, obviously.
Mm-hmm. To not have drag.
Yeah, there's no drag. And I push off right away. And I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to cut up too high. I got to have just the right line. Now, back in my day, we didn't do dolphin kicks. We just came right up.
Yeah.
But how would you describe, what are the phrases you use or the word pictures you would use for your perfect turn?
I think just going back a little bit on what you said, I think at the same time you say like turns are hard to fix, but at the same time, from my perspective, obviously, it was something that it was just a matter of being focused, being aware of what I'm doing. Because honestly, if you look back at practice, if you count how many turns you do, I would say usually you can do like 150 to 200 turns a day.
Right.
That's easy. So it's something that we do over and over and over, and it's so easy to just get into that habit to just make the turn without thinking of it.
Right.
And then it really was something that I didn't like when we had to go over time of practice or do one set where it was just designed for turns, or like we go mid-pull turns. And then I always question myself, like, why are we doing mid-pull turns if
we just did 100 of them?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, since we do a lot of turns, so it's just being able to lock in that moment and just observe. Because at some point, if you pay attention at your turn the whole time, and then one of them, you're gonna feel good. You're like, wow, I feel like I nailed this turn. And then it's just you have got to go back in your thoughts, like, okay, what did I do to feel that great? And then how can I make it happen again? And then I have so many more turns throughout the whole practice until it's over. So it's just a matter of being aware of the moment, being locked in the moment. But definitely one thing that it was in my mind as far as the technique, and I'm not much of a geek guy or nerd guy, but definitely I was able to. I'm a very visual learner, mm-hmm. And one thing that I worked a lot was just not to jam the wall. Right. I like physics, and then really I pay attention, like when I was swimming, we at U of L, we do swim at 25 yards. If it's not across the pool from 25 meters, if we do use the bulkheads, we can definitely hear the turn. So like if you jam the wall, you can hear like someone turning boom underwater, and the sound, like it can hear way much more underwater. So one thing I was really working on is how can I turn and sort of be like very silent at the turn. So all the energy that I'm gonna push off, it's not gonna be spread out through the wall. Mm-hmm. So one thing I was going around it to the wall and then placing my feet without jamming it, and being able to just absorb the energy and release it, kind of like a stream, just absorb and release. And that was my whole perception of it. How can I be smooth into the in and out of the walls?
Yeah, I love that.
That was, yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think that's great. Just transfer that energy as efficiently as possible. Mm-hmm. And every turn, you have to make the decision to make it a great one, starting from warm up to the main set to warm down. Because I thought the same thing. It's like, why are we working on turns? We just did an hour and a half of them or 2 hours of them. So
yeah, and the other thing too is just swimming, like different than most of the sports. We don't have that instant reward that gives you a satisfaction, gives you like a sense of relief. Like you play basketball and then you make a basket, you hear that it does instantly, feels great. It feels like, wow, I got this. You have so like that, your ego goes up. And swimming, we don't have that very often until you go a PB, until you do something amazing. Right. So it is really hard to stay motivated in swimming. But at the same time, you can if you work at one specific goal every day. Let's say I'm gonna pay attention. I'm just gonna be aware of every turn that I do at practice. That's a win. At the end of the practice, you can still have the same sense of satisfaction as you do a basket or you shoot a goal. Or so there's so much where you can focus on in swimming. Like let's say, for example, I'm going to do 4 kickouts off every wall, and if you complete that at every practice, that's a win. That is a win, and then most likely you're going to get closer to your ultimate goal by just winning and winning and winning.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's important to define your wins and enjoy the process, and that's going to make each practice, purposeful and rewarding. So
yes, it is hard because it's been, I've had times where I've been 2-3 years without dropping time, and then obviously for us swimmers, it's the whole point of keep swimming. It is finding ways to get better, finding ways to where you still can improve, and obviously still have fun. And for me, I've obviously finding some small wins where I can get it every day. It was definitely a huge motivation for me to stay in the sport.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's definitely the process of an ultimate swimmer is, to have that delayed gratification. That it's gonna take a little while, and you got to have a little patience, and you got to enjoy the journey on the way. I wanted to take a moment from this fascinating interview to let you know about a new partner for the Ultimate Swimmer podcast, and that is SwimShare. SwimShare is a free workout writing tool. Just Google SwimShare, all one word, SwimShare. And you can put in today's workout in just a few clicks, and it sends and stores all your workouts within seconds. The first workout you'll see on there is one of my favorites from yours truly. Check out SwimShare and take your workouts to the next level. Send, store, and share your swimming masterpieces with SwimShare. Hey, I want to take just a real quick segue and just have you for just a couple minutes explain to everybody the town you grew up in Brazil, when you first started swimming, and what some of your coaches or parents did well to kind of, help you become a great swimmer and train, and then the process of picking a college in America. Can you give us the little 5-minute life story of that?
Sure. I grew up I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I grew up in an awesome family. My parents, they are both awesome, and they always support me in everything I did. And since early age, my parents, they realized that I have doing sports, doing physical activities was natural for me compared to my brother. My brother was always a little more awkward doing sports, and while I was like super athletic, being able to do all kinds of sports. So I grew up doing all kinds: tennis, soccer, basketball, volleyball. My dad was a volleyball player. I did uh, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for a little bit. I did judo. I did all kinds of stuff, and swimming, obviously, because since I grew up in Rio, very close to the beach. My parents, they obviously they used to go to the beach a lot, and they always wanted to feel safe and in their environment, leaving us at the beach or someone's house which had what they had a pool, and they wanted to feel us safe, that we could be in the water, we could save ourselves. And they put us both in swimming classes. So we started like a really early age. I would say I was in the water like maybe 2 years old, doing swimming classes, just playing around. And then when I was 6, I started competing. I did one competition where I was late for my heat. I was just gonna do maybe a 50 freestyle or some kids event. Like I don't really remember. And I was late, and my heat was over. And my dad asked one of the referees if I could swim still, and the only heat that was available for me to swim was with the older kids that were 2 years older than me, and I ended up winning the heat. And I have an older brother, so the whole time I was competing with him, and I was not afraid to compete with older guys since I was doing the whole time with my brother. And yes, and one of the coaches from the club, that he asked me if I wanted to join the team, and I was obviously super excited. And I remember that at the first few weeks it was really hard, because going from swimming like maybe 2-3 times a week to an everyday thing, it was hard. And then as a teenager, I always loved, had a really good friends that were in the swim team. Most of my closest friends, they're no longer swimming, but they came from that team that we swam together. And it was amazing. And then at some point, I would say like the age of 14, 15, most of my friends, it's right at that age where it's sort of the sport sort of divides. If you want to take it serious, if you want to use swimming to the next level, or if you want to enjoy life in an other way. And most of my friends were didn't enjoy swimming as much, maybe to the fact that they were not as good as I was. And most of them, they quit swimming, and they just became sort of a normal teenager, like go to school, go to parties with friends, hang out with friends, or do like whatever they want to do. And I always had that obligation to like, oh God, I can't do this because I got to go to swimming practice. So at the age of 15, right after I qualified I was representing the state team. I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I was jealous about my friends that they were able to go to hang out with friends, or they were able to go to the beach while I had to go to practice. And obviously at that time, I'll say the big reason that I wanted to swim was because to maintain my friendship. And I told my dad that I didn't want to do it anymore. And he always support me in everything I wanted to do. He said it was fine for me to quit, in which I was kind of in shock, because he knew I was good. He knew that I had a future in swimming, and I thought he wouldn't let me. But he was like, "Sure, if you want to quit, that's fine, but you have to pick a sport where it's competitive." And then at that time, I grew up surfing, and I love surfing. It's one of the things I love the most, doing it. And I told him, like, okay, I'm gonna be a surfer. And at that time, it was not a thing. Surfing, it was more like it's seen as a hobby. And now, obviously, surfing have it's in the Olympics. It is considered a sport, not just a hobby. You got to do a full preparation, but he didn't let me, and I ended up playing basketball, which I was okay. I could play well with the ball, but I was not a very good shooter. So I had to show extra determination, and at practices, I would be the first one at practice showing up, and then I'll be the last one just shooting balls, just to prove to the coach that I was working my butt off and I wanted to play. And not every time he would put me to play. And that was something very frustrating at the time. It was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to participate. I wanted to be a team player. I wanted to contribute to the team. And so then I decided to quit. I told my dad that I wanted to go back to swimming, because swimming I was good at, and basketball I had to prove to others that I was good at, or I could become good. So yeah, and then once I returned to swimming, it just took to a whole new level. I had coaches. I had one specific coach from Brazil. His name is Daniel Volokita, who is such a big mentor. He played such a big role in my life at the early age. He was the ones that showed me that I could achieve success and great things. So he was the one pushing me to go study in the U.S. and become a college student athlete. And I left Rio when I was 18. I came to the U.S. for a year to train here, sort of like down in Florida. And I had a great time, and where I first had introduced to the American culture. I'd never been here before. And it was something that I saw it was possible for me to go to college. And so then at the end of 2018, I returned to Brazil, and I spent a year. And that's when Arthur and we start talking. And he proposed that, and my English was not good enough to go to school. So he gave an idea for me to go to Louisville, come here to Louisville, and just spend a year by myself, training by myself, and that I could learn English faster rather than staying at home. So I came here January 2010, and not speaking the language, not knowing anybody, and I had to figure out things by myself. I had to make friends. I had to figure out everything by myself. And because Arthur, he couldn't help me much. That would be against the NCAA rules, and he didn't want to risk his legacy to a new guy who never knew that I could perform. So at the end of that year, I was able to pass on the exams, and finally I was able to join the team. And that was such a dream come true, because it was such a motivation for me to be practicing. And then I would swim before the team. So my big motivation was to have the college athletes to see me training. I wanted to prove them something. I wanted to prove them whenever I joined the team, I will be ready to play.
Wow. That's an incredible story. From high school to spending a year kind of by yourself, learning the language.
Yeah, I would say definitely it was one of the years I learned the most, because literally I came here not having hotel, the only contact I had was Arthur, and he was very limited to help me out, because he couldn't pick me up at the airport. He couldn't drive me practices. He was, but it was good. He was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, Arthur and Amy are really some of the best people on the planet, and what they've built with the swim school, the swim team, the college team is just a beautiful thing of how they've made the swimming world better and made opportunities for so many people. And it's tough. They said, "Hey, come here, but we can't help you that much until you're on the team."
And I think at the same time, it was sort of a validation to have an understanding how much I wanted. And for me, it was the same. It was it was something at the beginning that I kind of wanted. It was like, oh, I kind of want to go to the U.S., go to college. If it doesn't happen, home is fine. Home is good. I have everything at home. But it was just, I wasn't settled for that. I was just like, okay, I really can be good at this. I really can push it. I really can learn myself, like, about myself here. And definitely it was one of the hardest years for me, but at the same time was one of the ones that I grew the most. I was able to figure out things on myself and really had to get out of the comfort zone and just figure it out. I had to figure it out.
Yeah, well, your English is great now, so thank you. And
got better, yeah. After 10 years, yeah.
It's way better than my Portuguese.
Some days still struggling. No. Yeah, some days still a little rough, but yeah, definitely you got better. Thank you.
Cool. Now, what city did you train in Florida that senior in high school?
I swam at Fort Lauderdale, at the Davy Nadadores. I don't know if you. Right.
Yeah. They've hosted a lot of international folks over the years.
Yes. I was one of the first on the club when they founded, and it was eye opening. It was great, just to be able just to train within a different environment, learn a little bit of the American culture. It was really, really good, and it was eye opening. I realized there was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to take to the next level, and that was definitely one very important step of my life. Yeah,
no, it's a big risk. It takes a lot of courage and guts to go to a new country, learn the language, and so essentially almost 2 years in a way by yourself, because 1 year at Davy and then 1 year at Louisville just training.
Yeah, I mean, at Davy, I was living with Brazilians. I was living with buddies. I wasn't truly by myself. I had a whole support, and even the coach, Coach Alex, he's from Brazil as well, and he was able to help me out. I did some English courses there, just the ESL, just to get used to the language a little bit more. But definitely, the 1 year that I came here, 2010 until 2011, was the rough year where I was literally by myself.
I want to take a quick break from this super fun interview to tell you about an awesome new resistance tool I found at gmx7training.com. Swimming with the GMX7 training resistance system allows me and my swimmers to not just go 25s, but 50s and beyond. GMX7 training allows you to get strength gains faster, engage the core more, feel the catch of the water better, and get more work done in less time. gmx7training.com. Don't just get strong, get swimming strong. Check it out at gmx7training.com.
So what have you learned about being a great teammate through friends like Kelsey and just being on the Louisville team and being a leader for them and helping establish that team culture and the great team it is now?
Yeah, definitely. Swimming prior to coming to the U.S. was individual sport. Never considered swimming as a team sport, and it was a big eye opening the moment that I joined the team, and Arthur was the one like really selling the idea that swimming, it's not individual sport. It is totally a team atmosphere, team sport, where you depend one another to perform, not only by that competition, but once you're able to bring a good team spirit to everyday practice, you're competing versus one another. And then if I prove, most likely you're going to push yourself to either beat me or not let me beat you. It's every day that for one another as a team. And really, you're just realizing that the team where I was at, or whichever team I am at, it's something bigger than myself. I'm not only doing for me, but I want to give back to the team. I want to help the team grow in a way that it's going to be beneficial for everybody, not just me. And that has such an impact. That has so much weight in the responsibility to perform when you're doing something not only for yourself. Because if you're doing something just for you, and let's say if you don't do well, that's fine. But you don't want to ever let somebody down. And having that weight that you're doing something for others, it was definitely a big transition there. And yeah, like you mentioned, I had really good teammates. Kelsey was one of them that I was very close with, and she really pushed me to become a better athlete, because we have totally different personalities, and in a way at practice we always add one another. I was always a little more chill, a little more settled back, while she was everything, like do everything right. So I was able to give like for her like a little some time for like to relax, while she was the one that bringing me back to, all right, let's work. And so we work really well together, and we really push each other, even though we're not racing against each other. But every time by seeing her practicing well, it always make me push myself a little bit more, just to show her that, hey, I'm with you, I'm working hard as well. So definitely she was my best teammate, the one I love to train the most with. And we're still friends today. And I do miss training with her, and it was always fun.
Yeah. Well, you two really kind of set Louisville on the map, and were a big part of, helping Arthur achieve his vision for the team. And so I just want to thank you guys for that, for being an inspiration to so many swimmers outside Louisville, but especially at Louisville.
Yeah, thank you.
So good on you for doing that. Just a couple more questions in closing. Do you have and now you're a head coach at Cardinal Aquatics, and but I kind of want to take what you know now, what you've been doing as a coach, and what you did as a swimmer and a professional swimmer. What are some of your favorite sets that you can remember? Do you have a favorite set that you did in college, or a favorite set that you give the kids now? I also want to talk about your favorite dry lands, favorite weights, favorite drills, some common problems you see in some drills. So let's go back. Is there a favorite set that comes to mind that you did in college? Or
yeah, I would say the one set that I'll get super anxious the couple of days before, knowing that we heading towards that set, was we do every training trip. We do this set, which is 20, 100, 20, 150s on. That varies a little bit on the interval, but usually it's about 40 to 50 seconds rest at the wall. And the set is designed to fail, especially for a 200 guy. Right. It is designed for you to fail and really get you out of to break you down emotionally, physically, and mentally, for sure. It's that set that it's gonna drain you. It's gonna make you think, make you question yourself. So the set is designed so you get your 200 best time at short course yards, and you add 2 seconds, and whatever time is, like for me, my goal time was my best time was 1:31. I add 2 seconds. My goal time is 1:33 to hold a long course meters.
Oh wow!
So it is a sort of a threshold, but at the same time, since I'm a 200 free, and that 200 free time is good, it's that kind of thing that you really have to push it. And the set it's uncomfortable for everybody, even for a sprinter that doesn't have such a good time on a 2 free, but it's going to suffer to complete that 30 grand set, or a distance guy that it's going to hurt. It's that type of set that it hurts everyone. It really take anyone out of their comfort zone. So I love that set by doing it, and I've done so many times. And so the goal of the set is, if you make your time, for me, 1:33,
right,
that's a success. So you got to make 20 of those. Of any that you miss out of that time range, you got to make up after. So
you just keep going until you hit 20.
You keep going till you hit 20. Usually at the end you go 20, and then give a little break, and then usually at the same day you go 10 more. So just try to redeem yourself. And if you don't do well, and usually that's at the beginning of the training trip, and then we do the same one at the end of the training trip. And usually towards the end, it's when we have our best mindset and we're more physically capable of completing the set.
I see. That's cool.
But yeah, it's that really you question yourself. Like it's so stressful by doing it, but it's that once you complete it, it gives you such you're done with it. You're like, okay, I made it. Even if you didn't win the set, if you didn't go 20 for 20, you still win the set because by just doing it, by just sacrificing yourself so much, it's being over with it. It's such a win.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have a favorite set you give the kids at the team now?
Yeah, I gave not too long ago one set where they had to go. We did 50s, and we get their 100 free time, and the goal for the set is to hit the back half time. So
second 50.
So, and the goal is so we go X amount of 50s, and the goal is to complete 10, and yeah, none of them could have done 10 for straight. Yeah, it is tough. So like really, and it's that type of set that once you start achieving your goals, and like you go 1, 2, 3, 4, like for your go time, at the moment that you don't make one, that you have a setback, most likely it's I see, at least from my athletes, or at least from my own experience, time start like going downhill. You don't perform as well because you start questioning yourself, like, oh, this is impossible. You start blaming your coaches that no, this set it's not good. So we have so many variables that it's easy to sort of sabotage yourself, like, oh, I'm not doing good, so you just give up. But the true challenge of these set, that the type of failing set, is just how can you bounce it back? How can you, from a setback, be able to bounce back and respond and still be able to perform? So that's those sets are the ones I like the most, where it's not only physically challenging, but it's that type of set that's gonna get in your head. It's gonna make you think about. It's gonna make you question about, is this what I want? Like, how bad I want this? And if you're the why is very important, you're gonna find ways where how can you can get better, or you're gonna find strength from your inner self that you're gonna be able to make the set, make it, like, find ways to get it better.
Yeah, I love that. You got to find your why.
Yeah,
got to know why you're doing it and why you love doing it through those hard things. But that's the challenge of a coach. How do we allow them a safe place to fail and try again and fail and try again and get back up and get back up? Because that's where you get better.
Yeah,
it's just going to failure, figuring out how to adjust and
the other thing we like it in those sets too, especially since it drains you physically, emotionally. The other thing we do at the end of the sets, like really hard days, we take a moment to reflect on how we did and giving teammates shout outs, because that's such an important thing too. I love it. The kids love it too. Just, it's a reassurance that someone is important. Your teammates are important. Like, anything that your teammates do have an impact on the team and themselves. So the shout out, it's always very important to express that what you do, it is important for me, and how can I contribute for you to swim faster. So it's that type of culture that we cultivate at Cardinal Aquatics, that it was there before I became a head coach, and it's something that I definitely push it every day to establish and maintain that culture, to one helping another, really, by one individual making the whole team as a better one.
Oh yeah, it's a very powerful concept. It really works.
Yeah.
To do those shout outs, to share that love. What is the most challenging and yet also rewarding thing about coaching these last 4 months as the new head coach?
This year I mean, even though it's been super challenging, I'm gonna say it's been the best year of my life. My daughter, she's gonna complete a year, and I'm so in love. I'm so enjoying this so much. But going back as a coach, or one thing it's challenging. It's having it's those days that you are tired, those days that you don't. Not I'm gonna say like you don't feel like it, where you have to sort of like put an image there, like okay, and really express motivation, be super enthusiastic when you naturally where you like on yourself, you have something that's bothering you, or so that is sort of challenging. But with that, it's something that swimming brought me, because swimming taught me, because some days I was exhausted and I just had to show up at practice and put that mask on, like, okay, everything's fine, I can do it. So as a coach, I think it's the same thing. It's just some days I'm exhausted, I haven't sleep, or I don't know, something going on, and just showing up at practice and like, okay, I'm gonna put a mask on and just like, oh, everything is fine, and then really be enthusiastic and then push the team to become better. Because definitely, if I don't show that, the kids are gonna respond the same way. So and I want to cultivate. I want to bring a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone, and it has to start on me. And definitely, the most satisfying thing as a coach is it's seeing them enjoy swimming fast, and just really that the grind that we push it every day. And it's a sort of like it's a mountain, ups and downs, where you do have some bad days, some good days, and then going towards the end of the season, it's just whenever kids swim their best time, it's that smile on their face, and looking at you, just like, we did it. That's it's so satisfying, and you know that as a coach, it's priceless. It's so enjoying to see them like believing with the work we do, and it's better for them, not only as an athlete, but teenagers. They're discovering themselves. They still have a whole life ahead of them, and definitely things that the sport teaches. You don't learn that anywhere else. So it's really enjoying for me.
Ah, that's well said. It is so rewarding to be a part of that process and have those light bulb moments with them. And obviously the best time moments are, like you said, they're priceless. That's so cool. What would you tell a kid who is a Corona kid? They have access to a pool 3 times a week for 45 minutes, and they have to do all their dry lands at home. What would you say to a Corona kid that's maybe stuck in that situation?
It's something that we human beings, we're able to adapt to any scenario, any type of environment. We've been to the moon, we've been to all over the places, and definitely the Corona, it's something that it is challenging for everybody, and for especially it is very challenging. It's something that it's not easy to do it on your own, find motivations, not knowing when the next meet will be, or where my body is at, how am I going to race against. But just having that mindset that I'm doing this for me, I'm doing this to get better as myself, as an individual. And it's something that if you're not just looking for when is the next meet, but how can I get better today at anything you do. And times are very challenging, but it's those days that like are challenging, it's the one you grow the most. So try to take the most out you can today, where tomorrow you're going to look back and then you'll be happy that you sacrificed yourself for something bigger.
Yeah, that's good advice. And I also, real quick, want to talk about coach wellness. You just worked out yourself this morning. We're recording this on a Sunday morning, and you already had your own personal workout in. How often do you work out now as a coach and a dad, and the crazy schedule that we have now as coaches and parents? How do you sneak in your personal workout?
Yeah, definitely. I don't work out as much as I was past year, but it's something that I'm still finding some like ways and times where I can go to the gym and work out. Definitely, it's now as a new dad, I'm having to find like times and schedule when and where I'm gonna lift and do some workouts. Yeah, but it's something that it's in me. It's in my DNA. I love just just letting like exercise, just getting my heart rate up. It's something I love. So I don't really have a routine where I go every day. I just, if I do have time, I try to go. And the one thing I've started doing recently, it's I started boxing, and it's so enjoying. It's something I'm loving. I'm discovering I'm getting better, and yeah, it's a new challenge where I'm facing it, and I'm having so much fun with it.
That's great. And those are some good swimming muscles too.
For sure, yes, it is. I'm at Drylands. I'm incorporating that into our Dryland as well. Just hitting bags, just connecting the whole body, because it's not only arms. It's you got to coordinate arms and legs, just like swimming, and like any other sport. It's good for have a better body awareness and have a good understanding of how your body functions.
Is that some of your new favorite Dryland stuff? Is some boxing stuff for the kids?
Lately, yeah, it is. Since I'm far away from the beach and I can no longer surf, boxing became like one of my favorite hobbies to do.
What is your favorite Dryland for yourself or for your club kids? If you had to pick just a few Dryland or weight movements, do you have a favorite one or two?
I really like Olympic lifting, so snatches, jerks, and yeah, I really would like free lifting. Not much any machines. I like barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells. Those are the ones like you can be really creative with it, and use body to balance your body on top of something. It's something that I really enjoyed. Not specifically one exercise where I like the most, but I think it's just having a good combination where it can have a better understanding of the body. It's good.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite drill that you did for freestyle when you were swimming?
I called it, the club we called it the Luca Drill, because it was the one I loved the most. It's very simple, but it can be sort of complicated. It's just simple, two strokes at each arm, having one arm up front. And really the reason I love that drill is because you can really coordinate the shoulder rotation, really coordinate the kick, beat, and that really emphasize the power of the breakout. So as you're pulling one arm, really extending the other arm, driving forward, and connecting the axes in your body. And it was something that looks very simple, but if you just pay attention to like small details as far as not sweeping your hands out, driving your hands forward, making sure that your elbows are completely straight, those can be very challenging. And yeah, swimming, it's now as a coach, it really has to get me out of my comfort zone, because I can do it. I can swim but it is a challenge for sure, like to have to break it down little by little and have to put in words, because those are like something that is hard still for me to do, but it's been a challenge. So definitely I had to go back in the water and like work at myself to also have a better understanding.
Right. So it's two right
and then two left.
And just
always having one arm up front.
Right.
But the true challenge, if you ever have your kids, your athletes doing it, present that to them, you're going to notice that most likely every time they are doing the drill, they most likely every time they catch water, they're going to bend the elbow a little bit, the leading elbow.
Right.
So it's really good, just reinforcing that the breakout. It was the drill that I really enjoyed doing it, and really helped me improve my breakouts.
That's cool. And obviously you're kicking nice and fast. And
yeah. And the other thing too, the kick is just how can you use the kick? Because a lot of times we do the body rotation, the kick also goes either one way to another, but like how can you maintain being able to rotate your shoulders and slightly rotate your hip, but maintain the kick beat at the same direction, up and down. That's something challenging because you're going to see people rotating and the whole body rotates and the kick does too. And you got to be able to maintain that kick the same direction.
I love that. That's a great little swimming Jedi tip, is that the shoulders rotate pretty good. The hips rotate just a little bit less, and the kick shouldn't rotate too much.
Yeah. It's definitely being a challenge as far as putting up at words, because swimming, I can do it. It's as easy as walking, but to be able to break it down, the motions, the mechanic, little by little, and putting in words. Swimming is complicated, man. It just I had the challenge because I was working with a 65-year-old man who's a great runner, but he don't know how to swim, and I'm having this challenge to teach him how to swim, and definitely he's still an athlete, 65. He can run a marathon under 3:30, so which is really good. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a very fit, but definitely the age at some point, even though he's still an athlete, it can become a challenge. And yeah, it's been a good challenge to teach him how to swim. He would drown if he just he doesn't know how to swim whatsoever, and it's been a challenge to break it down little by little and teach him how to swim. And his goal is to do the Ironman, and hopefully I can help him out.
Yeah, because swimming is not like running or biking where you can kind of power your way through it. When you don't have
any support. You don't have the weight pulling you down to earth to have the support from the ground. You don't have that, and it's really being able. How can you maintain your top? I'm the one, for example. I cannot float. I have no buoyancy, so I constantly have to keep moving in order to stay on top of the water. And I'm sure like a lot of people are like that. And it is a challenge, and it's not a natural environment, and we don't react the same way in the water as we do in land. So it is tough. It looks easy, but it is very demanding.
A lot of subtle little angles that make it work well.
Yeah.
And you got to learn those angles. You got to have that feel.
Yeah, and you have to have like a really deep relationship with the water too. It's not, at least from my understanding, you have to have a relationship with the water. And
yes, that's true.
Yeah, and it's something that, I don't know, it's just every water, at least every pool you go to, we have such a nice sensibility, like really deep sensibility with the water, that you're able to tell that one pool is different from another. One pool feels faster than the other. And it's not much it's not just the water temperature. Like you go to world championships, they're always the same. The water temperature is always the same. The length of the pool is always the same. But there's one element that at some point, like the water feels fast, or the water feels slow, or too heavy. And it's incredible.
Yeah. Caleb says, he talks about how he has a special relationship with the water, and he talks to he refers to the water like a lady, like he's married. Yeah. And I think there is a certain special relationship that ultimate swimmers have with the water, that you gotta treat it right, and you can't fight it.
Yeah, I mean, do you also think that swimmers are a little cuckoo in the head, a little crazy? Because I honestly think, since swimmers, they spend so much time in their head, just a lot of times we stare at a black line, and then down and back, and for easily 2-3 hours a day, you spend by yourself in your head. So you have to find ways to be creative, in a way to call the water a lady, or I don't know, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And
for me, it's my happy place. I can pray, I can think, I can just surf. I pretend like I'm surfing my own wave when I do my paces. I just love it. I can't imagine a day without it. But so speaking of relationship, last thing, tell us how you met your wife, Carol, and where you guys are now, and what your goals are for your future.
Well, we've been together for almost 10 years, and we met her right at the same year where everything was difficult. I moved to Louisville, and we met at that year. Actually, we met right when I was able to pass on the exams and join the team. So I met her at the end of 2010, and for 3 years we did have a long distance relationship uh, through Skype. She would come visit me once or twice a year. I would go back maybe twice or three times a year to compete in Brazil. So we always had like a connection, and we're always able to see one another at least 6 times a year. And it was challenging, spending time far away from each other. But at some point, the relationship it had to come to a point where either it is going to happen together, or we were gonna break it apart, because definitely having a relationship is not meant to be distance.
Right.
And so we talked, and we both decided it was best for her to come to Louisville and go to school here as well. And so she gave up on the degree that she was doing in Brazil, and she started a whole new one here in Louisville. And she did graphic design, and she's amazing graphic designer, amazing wife, such a good friend. And now we have a daughter after we've been married for 3 years, and we have a daughter, and it's been the most amazing thing in my life. It's just it's such a joy every day, just us four, because we have a dog too, which is amazing too. And it is every day. It's a new thing, seeing the baby develop and learn something new. It's been so much fun. I'm enjoying this so much.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is the best. It is the best. Well, I'm so proud of you, and I wonder if you could just close, because I know we have some Brazilian listeners out there. So I'd love for you to just feel free to speak Portuguese. Just anything you'd like to say to encourage the swimmers out there in Brazil that they're looking to follow in your footsteps.
Sure. Should I say in Portuguese?
Yeah, go for it.
Ok. Bom, fala pessoal. Obrigado por estar escutando esse podcast. É um momento difícil de coronavírus, mas eu acho que vai todo mundo conseguir passar por isso numa boa. E com certeza, através dessa dificuldade, você vai se achar um momento de crescimento, e onde você vai poder plantar coisas para o futuro. Beleza? Então, continua forte, treina forte e seja um ultimate swimmer.
I love it. It's so beautiful. Gustavo had me come race him in Rio and Sao Paulo a few times, in Fortaleza and Florianopolis. And by the end of the week, I would learn some Portuguese, and then of course I would forget it all. But it's such a beautiful language, and beautiful country, beautiful people, and a lot of fast swimmers. A lot of fast swimmers in Brazil.
We definitely going through like a really good phase after such a good leaders like Gustavo, Xuxa, Cielo. You can name a bunch of them, and really people really using the swimming as a way to learn themselves, to enjoy themselves and become better, not only athletes but better citizens.
Yeah. Well, you represent your country well. I totally forgot to talk about Rio and 2015 Pan Ams. I love Pan Ams. I had a great time at Pan Ams. We have that in common. I got 3 golds in Pan Ams in 95, and you got 3 golds in 2015.
That's right.
So 20 years later. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Pan Ams it's such a cool meet.
Would you say that was probably your best international meet?
Yeah, for international, for sure. We had short course worlds. I did really good too, but at least the one I had most fun was 2015 Toronto Pan Ams. Was my first one, and being able to have 3 victories was so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys dominated the relays, and your freestyle was on. And then obviously racing in Rio was special, I'm sure.
Super, yeah. It was such a nice experiment. Just being able to have the Olympics at home, man, it's wow. It was amazing. Grew up in Rio, and being able to have all my family and friends watching me and supporting me. It was that experience that you really only live once in a lifetime, and
Yeah.
I don't think any other Brazilians, like, from the future, we're gonna go through that again, because I don't really see us hosting another Olympics anytime soon. But yeah, it was so satisfying. It was amazing. I didn't perform the way I expected, but still, it was amazing.
Yes.
Awesome experience.
I'm sure everybody was super proud of you, and there was just a little dancing and celebrating. So
Yeah, always got to celebrate wins and loses for sure.
yeah. Well, I love. I got to know you a little bit better last year at the New York Breakers, the ISL, and I love how you treat people. I love how you actually lead people and inspire people, and I'm just so glad that the kids at Cardinal Aquatics get to have you as their coach, and you continue doing that. And I just want to thank you for your service to the Breakers, to the Brazilian team, and especially to the Cardinal team. You've done a super job making the swimming world better, and I just wish you all the best in the future.
Wow, thank you. That means a lot coming from you, man. That means a lot, and it is something that, yeah, the leadership that I had in those teams, it's not, I would say, naturally, but it's definitely something that I learned myself, that if you can make a difference in someone's life, and definitely my goal today is to make a difference in someone's life. Definitely, as a coach, my dream is to get an Olympic medal as a coach, which it was my dream as an athlete, which I couldn't get it. So I want to make a difference in someone's life, and even if it's not just the medal, it's just I want to become a coach where, sort of the one I had, I go back and look at my coaches, Arthur, Danielle, Chris, Lindau. I look at them, and for the rest of my life, I'm going to be thankful for them. And I want to be that kind of person now on the other side. I want to have kids that they look up to me and say, just thank you, and for everything you did. And I do it with all my love. I do it because I enjoy it. I do it because I know it's important for me to give it back.
That's well said. That's what an ultimate swimmer does. It's about making a difference and giving back. And I can't wait to see you around in the pool soon again. Have a great one, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It was amazing.
I want to take a moment to tell you about my favorite swim cap, the Hammerhead Swim Cap. It's the safest, fastest, longest lasting, most comfortable swim cap in the world. Its one-of-a-kind patented honeycomb shock-absorbing technology will prevent concussions. And the Hammerhead cap has no wrinkles to ensure top speed with the least resistance. And it's super comfortable. That's easy to get on and easy to get off, and it will never tear. This is the last cap you will ever need to buy. Safety and speed, all at hammerheadswimcaps.com. Thank you for joining us on this Ultimate Swimmer podcast. We hope you enjoyed hearing from these Olympians and life champions and how certain habits and decisions help them on their journey, and they can help you too. If there is an ultimate swimmer from your team that you would like to nominate that we can recognize on our show, just email me at josh@joshdavis.com. That's josh@joshdavis.com. And tell us about how your ultimate swimmer is making a difference in your swimming community. And that's the goal, to make a difference and swim with purpose. Not only are you getting better, but you're helping those around you get better too. When you realize you were born for the water, born for greatness, and born to serve others, you are on your way to becoming an ultimate swimmer. I'm Josh Davis. Until next time, keep streamlining and keep smiling. See you around the pool soon.